Hello, and welcome to a special mini series where we're going to be covering the story behind the SOS initiative happening during South by Southwest on March 12th. And today we are with Randall Scott White, and he went from being the lead singer of the band Railer to disrupting the film industry. And so I'm very excited to talk to you and share your story today.
Thank you for having me here, Kay.
Of course. Well, let's dive in. I'd love to, share a little bit about, I guess, where we met. We met at a film screening
Mm-hmm.
for the documentary Spiral,
Yeah.
which you were deeply involved with. And can you share a little bit about Spiral? What is it, and what is it about?
Yeah, I'm accidentally in the film industry now because Spiral is about my life with a 13-year relationship with a wonderful woman who slowly lost her mind over time due to mental illness, and I was unaware of of what really mental illness was until we were completely enveloped by it,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up cataloging just as she descended into madness, the chronicling what happened to be able to reflect on it, and then ended up bringing the story to Jennifer Hutchins with AEB and thought I may be able to help other people stop the tragedy that happened in the story. So to create a cautionary tale to help other families prevent that from happening to them, what did occur.
Wow, that is very powerful, and thank you for sharing that and your experiences with that. And what inspired you to document it? Like, what was there something that said, aha?
Well, I'm a frontman in a band, so it started out with I moved from Alaska after graduating with the university there as a backup. I got a degree, and then 3 days later, had all my stuff in a U-Haul and drove down the Alaskan Yukon, the Canadian Yukon Highway, and landed in Portland, Oregon. And I said, I'm going to start a rock band. And a couple days later, I had put together the original lineup for Railer, which is a band that we started getting people filming us, and you want to capture yourselves on stage, and so that was really the beginning of the footage.
Mm.
And then I met a wonderful woman, Michelle, and she was a bartender, and so we were just two wild peas in a pod, and really hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it was documenting the good times. You go into the Oregon coast and you're just capturing the moments. So later on, you can look back on what are supposed to be good memories.
Yeah.
And then it turned when mental illness struck. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And you documented the entire experience of those, was it, you said 13 years?
Yeah.
And what inspired you after you had the content to create or want to create a film around it?
It really, when it turned, um, there was there was a point when it became dangerous. And if you know or learn about mental illness, especially bipolar disorder, it comes with mania and it comes with depression, and then there's just these normal times in between. And we didn't know that's what she had. She was undiagnosed, so we didn't know what we were dealing with. But we had a daughter together in 2009, and it was shortly after our daughter Charlotte was born that she cracked. But it was also right. Her mother ended up taking her own life, and it was after her mother took her own life that she really something changed and switched, and it became dangerous actually at times with self harm
Mm-hmm.
and just putting ourselves in such risky situations where I'm supposed to be the frontman of a band who's the wild one, and I ended up chasing these crazy nights of mania that I had no idea there was a driver behind it that is an actual illness. And so the filming and the just in 2009, it's when iPhones came out, and suddenly you have a camera in your pocket now,
Yeah.
and you can capture that moment. And so it's all authentic, it's all real, and I was trying to deal with the situation as it occurred to show her back, because it was like in the Incredible Hulk, when he would wake up and his clothes are all torn up and there's a hole in the wall, and it's smoking, and somebody has to say, no, that was you that went through that wall.
Mm-hmm.
I would show her back to try to see what we could do to fix it. And it so there's so much footage that was captured after things didn't work out. It was a form of self therapy for me to say just what happened here, and to put together the media that I had to just look at myself in the mirror and say, am I the crazy one?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I might be a little bit, but not. I don't think it was all me that was driving that.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up being a reflection of insanity when insanity has enveloped you. So it was to just ask myself, what the hell happened here? And then when I realized that, I thought, well, you've got all this footage. Maybe you can help other people prevent it happening to them.
That I think that's so powerful that you were vulnerable to share, to capture and then to share. And so how did it come about that it, went from footage to film, and who did you meet along the way to help make that happen?
I knew I had something, and so I wanted to get involved with professionals who could help bring it out there on the correct path. And so I saw a meetup for AEB,
Mm-hmm.
and I went down. It was when it was at the Speakeasy, uh, and just saw Jennifer Hutchins owning the room and bringing together all these industry entertainment professionals from film, from all the I mean, Hollywood people that were showing up on her Zoom and at the event. And I thought, well, this group could certainly lead to people that could make it happen the way that the vision that I felt it deserved. Because I don't know what I'm doing, and so I didn't want to just be another. Hey, here's my project. We produce this, and so I got involved with the AEB community and realized just how amazing it is that you think there's this Hollywood playbook, and there's really not. There is what you can make happen from true connections. And so in after quite a while of going to these events, then I finally brought the idea to Jen, and she has absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. And now we have a film that is made by a two-time Academy Award-winning director, and Paul McCartney's one of his friends that is a composer composed it, and there's just been so much talent brought to this because I think it's an authentic story.
Hmm.
It's already helped a lot of people.
Definitely has. And I think there's a lot of beauty that it's bringing to the world, and in the form of like awareness and understanding of something that caused a lot of pain in your wife's life that you didn't know why, and now this can be a powerful ripple effect for others. And so looking at the film now, you've released it, I've seen the screening of it. What's next?
Well, not being a Hollywood person, I didn't know that. I mean, I'm a musician, so when Napster came about, it completely disrupted the music industry, and there was a lot of gnashing of teeth, and the distribution model changed not only for the record companies but for the artists themselves. You weren't making as much money selling CDs anymore, and it was just streaming, or people were getting it for free, and you had to find a way to survive selling t-shirts and tickets because your music was just kind of the free thing you gave away to attract people to come see you live. But the all of a lot of the revenues that you can make as a musician, that melted away. Well, I mean, the same thing's happening with film right now, where you just think, oh, we've got a movie and it'll get bought by a studio or it'll get bought by one of these networks, and I'm in the money. No, it doesn't work like that at all anymore. You have, especially with documentaries, an entire swath of filmmakers who aren't making their money back, but the distributors are still making money. And so, how can they make their next film if they have to give up their art and go get the 9 to 5 because they couldn't pay their investors back, and nobody else will invest in their next project? So, what we've what I learned is that we are now in that same Napster moment that happened to the music industry in the film industry. And there's so many changes coming about with the streaming models, as well as now even AI coming in to see jobs. It's already hard enough. Now we're seeing more jobs go away. It's a difficult moment. And so we are not willing to let this story just be another film that is thrown onto a network without the proper promotional release. And so it's been a real battle and a real eye opener for me that the industry, it's just not as easy as somebody would think to do that, to distribute and actually make the money back for your investors, and then be able to continue to reinvest in the film so that it can have an evergreen life and not just be on the shelf for 3 months and then it's forgotten about. So that takes it's really a business. It's become, you need a business plan. You can't just think somebody's going to come in and say, wow, here's a suitcase of cash. It's $1 million. You did great. And then you don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people see the tip of the iceberg, and what's underneath is all that the work and all that dedication. And so, looking at this disrupting the industry, how is the upcoming event, SOS initiative, and your film as part of that? How is that disrupting the industry?
Well, really, SOS is Jennifer Hutchins' brainchild to take what she and we have learned in this process and be able to help many other filmmakers along the way. And she's blazed a path forward with the Saving Our Stories initiative that she's much better to speak to than me. But at the event coming up during South by, it is like the with AEB, the way that she has been able to, if there's one thing Jennifer Hutchins knows how to do, it's live events. And to be able to bring in a streaming component while there's a live audience is it's a new vehicle for distribution of these stories, where you can still be the owner of it and then get it to the audiences that truly want it or that matter, instead of throwing it onto a network and just hoping for the best.
Definitely. Well, it is going to be such an incredible event and such a disruptor, and something that's going to educate and entertain as well, and be an event that's going to be worth going to. So, who should come to the event?
We when I first landed in Texas and from Oregon, I approached NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, with some of the. I was just trying to make it happen, right? So during the same time that I was getting involved with All Entertainment Business (AEB), I reached out to NAMI in Texas, and Greg Hanch was the executive director at that time, and he said, sounds good. And they get approached with a lot of ideas. So I was another one of those ideas. And he said, but I'd like to keep tabs on the project. Fast forward to 2024, where we reached back out and they were calling for panel sessions or films for their 40th annual anniversary, the meeting where all of the NAMI chapters come around from all over Texas, El Paso, Houston, Dallas, Austin, and they have their annual meeting. And I made a proposal that we could screen the film there because that is the audience. NAMI, the membership and the community at the National Alliance on Mental Illness is mostly people with lived experiences. And that's what this film is. It is lived experience. And, if you've been burned by a fire, then you can talk with other people who know what it's like to be burned by a fire. And so we screened the film there, and there was a highly receptive audience to that. And that evolving of let's keep bringing this film to those who want to see it or those who can appreciate it most, with the strategic trajectory of that will build up a path for us to get it to a wider audience who may not have paid attention to it until they've heard of it maybe 2 or 3 times. The SPYRAL, you got to see it. Let's check it out. That usually doesn't happen until there's a core audience that is supporting it. And a lot of filmmakers have to do that. You have to build a community over time to get your film out. And people who care, you start out with a Kickstarter. And then from there, you got to build all your social media presence. And I mean, it's a full-time job.
It's a business.
It's a business.
Definitely is a business. So I absolutely love that you're building this. And to those out there listening who maybe have a project or want to support mental, like the knowledge on mental illness and getting it out there, these kind of stories, how would you suggest, like as someone who's done it, how would you suggest they get started?
First, go to therapy and stop yourself from having to film this kind of stuff. But what I would suggest is that whatever your path, let it be one of truth to yourself and your own self-integrity of these are real relationships with real people, and reputation is key, and nobody's going anywhere. And so you could quickly be pointed out as someone who is just, you don't want to be a user. You want to truly be an assist for a symbiotic relationship. And, the world isn't like LinkedIn is it's shallow. Connections like that, it's about getting involved in the real community, helping people truly achieve their goals, and then magically someone will come back and support you. And so I love helping other people to succeed as much as I can in any way, from on the music side to film to computers. Kind of a geek in that respect. I'm really into experimenting with AI right now, but at the same time, we're at a point where, if you'll recall, when refrigerators came out in the early 1900s, the guy delivering ice, he didn't like refrigerators.
Yes, true.
So there's a lot of people in the film industry who are delivering ice, while AI is the new refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have these AI enthusiasts who are totally embracing it, and the tools coming out every day are just mind blowing. It's so fast, the pace. But then there are also those who are entrenched in the model of yesteryear, and that there's a fracture right now. And so I think finding your skill set, leaning into that, and understanding we're in a disruptive moment in time, and being able to ride that wave as best you can so you don't get wiped out by it.
Oh, that is such crucial advice. I feel that same vibration right now as well. Well, this has been so great. Thank you for sharing your story about the event. How can people attend? How can they get connected?
Great question. We have a website, spyralthemovie.com. That's SPYRAL, themovie.com. And we have teamed up with technology that will be streaming that around to all 700 chapters of NAMI on March 12th. So, and it's a fundraiser. That's the other component. We are raising funds for mental illness and awareness by sharing part of the event pass. A portion of those proceeds goes to the NAMI chapters. And so we're opening up the film to revenue share with those who can actually not only use the information in the story to better their lives, but to actually get the funds they need to enhance their local chapter of helping other people do the same. So I'm really excited, and we'll have all the information you need about the event at spyralthemovie.com.
Thank you so much, Randall. This has been a great conversation. And to all of you who have viewed this, listened to this, and if mental illness has affected you or you know someone who has went through it, definitely be a part of this project, be a part of this initiative. We need you and we want to be there for you. Spiral the Movie, SPYRAL, themovie.com. Join us and we will see you on March 12th.